Okie doke. Hope that went well. Make sure you've inferred, compared and used quotes from both sources in your damn day. So let's move on to question 3 then. Quick sticks. Okay, you now need to refer to only source A from lines 27 to 40. Now in this mock exam, it will give you the sort of section that you need to refer to, so don't worry about that so much. All right, so lines 27 to 40, how does the writer use language to describe the coal tips? Okay, well, let's have a look at it. All right, I'm not going to read it through because I'm assuming that you've read it previously, but let's have a look at this. So what's the first thing that stands out to me? The evening sun sank early behind them. Well, the sun's like a symbol of sort of light and happiness, isn't it? If it's going down early because these tips are so massive, then maybe that's, you know, maybe that's relevant. Maybe that's something that we could pick out. What about dumped by the hand of God? Were they? Really? Or is it a metaphor? Remember, a metaphor is essentially, you know, it's something described as something it's not. Yeah, it's a carrying across of meaning from one thing to another. That's what a metaphor is. So that's what it actually means, metaphor, a carrying across. So what about rising like black pyramids in the western sky? What are the connotations of black? Not in a racist way, guys. Please don't go down that, you know, like, let's keep focused, all right? So, but the colour connotations might be interesting. Something about the way that they're moving, inching ominously down the mountain. Is that something you could pick out as a word? Okay. Is the newest tip a killer with a rotten heart? Does it have a heart? Exactly. Or is that another metaphor? Right. I think that's what I'm actually going to start with, to be fair. A killer with a rotten heart. Okay. A killer with a rotten heart. Okay. Just make sure I got that right. A killer with a rotten heart. Yes, lovely. So how does the writer use language to describe the coal tips? Well, what is that? It's a metaphor. Okay. Well done, me. I've got some subject terms in there. I've got a quote in there. What else do I need? I need to explain how the writer has used the language I've picked out to make an impact about these coal tips. What impression are you getting? So from killer with a rotten heart, terribly dangerous, okay? The writer describes the coal tips as dangerous long before the landslide, what we're calling it, avalanche accident. Oh, I'm going to call it an accident. What have they called it? What have they called it? They've called it a landslide. I'm going to go for landslide, I think. I think accident lets people off a little bit too much almost. Right. The writer describes the coal tips as dangerous. Dangerous long before the landslide, yeah. The use of the metaphor, a killer with a rotten heart, implies that the that tip number 7, which is the one it's on about, or the coal tip, whichever, I don't care. It's what is it, guys? What is that? That's personification, isn't it? That. Okay. It's almost like it's intended to do it, like a killer. You know, what kind of person would we call a killer? If someone knocked someone over in their car accidentally, I don't know if I'd call them a killer, to be honest. All right. If something's an accident, I don't know if I would, you know, if I would use that language, but I would use it for, you know, that idea of it being on purpose. Implies that the coal tip almost, no, implies that the coal tip was purposeful in attacking the village of Aberfan. Okay. The fact that it has a rotten heart, well, I've written that, but do I really mean that? The fact, its rotten heart emphasises the rotten nastiness, cruelty. Right. I don't know what you think of that, guys, to be honest, but what I have done there is I've said my impression of the place, like it's dangerous, it was a cruel thing to have happened there, yeah? I've used quotes. I've not only used a sort of longish quote to get this full metaphor or this full personification, if that's what you want to pick out, but I've also taken a bit of that and said a bit more about it, all right? And I chose the word emphasises because it is a language term, all right? If I'd put its rotten heart shows, nah, that's not very good, all right? Emphasises, I think, is a decent word to be going forward with, guys, all right? So I'd like you to see if you can create another paragraph based on lines 27 to 40. How does the writer use language to describe the coal tips? Give it a